Hey everybody, so today should be a pretty short video. We got our swivel seat in by Scopema. We're going to throw that on the passenger side for Bailey. So it'll probably just be me today. Leon and I both work full time, but today's my regular day off, so I have a little opportunity to just complete some quick projects. So let's get right into it. So included with the Scopema swivel seat, there's some hardware to adapt it to your existing mounting location of your chair. So I'm on the passenger side now, and then one of the first things that you'll need to do is remove this wiring harness here, using, what is this, a 7mm socket, and that's going to allow you to move the seat around, obviously, because we have to detach it to attach the swivel. So let's get right into that. So 7mm socket. And then it looks like there's maybe a clip or something that you have to depress to pull it out. Oh, okay. So that came out pretty simply. So the bolt itself is kind of retained to the male side, or the side with the wires on it. So it won't come all the way out, but you'll kind of feel less friction as you unscrew it. And then, now that the wiring harness is off, we'll have to slide the chair back to get the front two bolts. I believe these are 10mm, so there's one here and one over on here. So we'll slide the chair back as much as it can go. We'll get a socket wrench and just start undoing these two bolts. Oh man, it's pretty tight in there. So we just had our first casualty. So I was using an adapter to a bigger wrench so that I could have more leverage, but of course all of that torque went to the weakest point, which in this case was that adapter. Alright, so I got the first two off. Here's the bolts, or the fasteners. And then next we'll slide the chair all the way forward to get the rear two. And so there's one right here in this track, and then there's one right here in this other track. There we go. And so now we should be able to move our seat. So I'll need to clear off some space. And then we'll take it off. So I just got a little piece of foam down from our solar panels to move the chair onto the cargo area of our van. You don't really need to do this, but since we're at the stage where we've just primed and cleaned off our flooring, we're just trying to be extra careful where we can. Okay. And so the seat belt's still attached. You don't really need to worry about that if you just move it backwards. But now we'll lay our swivel seat right on top of that. So I'm just going to take off this felt material. There's two Velcros back here, and then there's two hooks in the front. So I'm just going to undo that and unhook it. If I can get this out. There we go. And I'm just going to give everything in here kind of a quick vacuum, just because I feel like I see a bunch of random crumbs and all that good stuff. So now that we've vacuumed inside this little compartment, we're just going to put the cover back on. Making sure to feed the wire back through this little opening. And then we can grab our swivel seat and put it on top. And then you'll want to make sure that you feed the wires back through the center hole. And then we can line up our holes. And then I've also given the swivel seat a little twist so that we have access to the underlayer. Now we can get an Allen wrench. I think this is 5mm, and these bolts. These will fit into the corners that mount the swivel seat to the vehicle chair. And we'll just tighten them all in. And of course we run into some complications here where all of the bolt locations don't exactly align. So maybe we'll try this in a different order. Start with the diagonals, get those lined up if possible. Okay, maybe we'll go like this first. So yeah, our holes don't perfectly align. So we're gonna have to make them align somehow. And I'm not sure what the best way to go about that is, or how they could be so unaligned. So I've got 2 of the 4 bolts mounted into the base, but then on the other side you can see how the holes of the swivel seat don't line up with the base. And same thing over here. So it seems like right now I can only get 2 bolts locked in at once. So my plan is to basically wedge something through here into that bottom bolt location, or the base, and then try to create a little leverage by torquing it this way so that I can get this hole to line up, screw the bolt in, and then that should hopefully relieve the stress on this end where I can remove my little pry bar and then drop the bolt in. So we're gonna see how that goes. Okay, so I got a screwdriver that fits into the base bolting locations. Okay, this one's aligned. And then I want to make sure that I tighten it down all the way so that whatever tension I apply stays there, so that I can screw in the last bolt where my prying tool is in. Okay, that looks pretty good. So hopefully now I can get this last one in, and then we can torque everything down. So since everything's under tension, I'm expecting it to be pretty difficult to get all of them in and nice and tight at the same time. Okay, it seems like we're in. So we gotta put the chair back on. Oops. Align our mounting locations. It's kind of hard to do with this thing swiveling everywhere. Alright, so this is the back left hole for our bolt. And so from the directions, you'll take your bolt, come in from the underside, and then once it pops up like that, So textured side down, and then our nut at the top. We'll take our 13mm wrench to hold in the bolt head from the bottom. We'll take our socket and tighten it from the top. And hopefully we don't run into any issues where there's misalignment. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. So we got to cut off this baby seat part. We're probably just going to use a hacksaw to avoid sparks and metal flying everywhere, just to prevent rust from occurring. So we'll file it down afterwards, and then probably apply a little bit of black paint just so it's all uniform with the rest of the base. Time to hacksaw the baby off. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of painter's tape or masking tape underneath here to prevent me from accidentally scratching anything. Or not. Okay. Nice. So I did scratch this part up a little bit, but I'll just paint that up too. And then I'll make sure to vacuum all of this metal shavings up, because that's all a little hot spot for rust. Time to file. Alright, that looks pretty good. For all of the areas that I scuffed up, I'm just going to go over it with 220 sandpaper just to smooth out some of the larger gashes in the metal. And then I'm just going to wipe everything down with a little isopropyl. Alright, now we painted it black again, so hopefully it'll dry nice and even, and we should be good to go with our swivel seat. And so with that final touch up, the swivel seat is installed. I have to head out of here in a little bit, so we'll talk to you guys then.
We got our swivel seat. I did so much.
You did nothing.
I was working today, but Erin installed the swivel seat, and this is really exciting because this is going to be Bailey's seat, and now she can sit in here and watch us while we do work.
Bailey's swivel seat. Woo woo, Bailey! She's so happy. Aww.